Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time seeing this beautiful face, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate your comments a whole lot, so please leave a comment on this video. And if you're a regular subscriber, hey love, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sandra, and today I'll be giving you 6 points to consider when renting an apartment in Lagos. So if you already live in Lagos, maybe you live with family members, or you're looking to relocate to Lagos, or you're trying to relocate to Nigeria and you're looking at places where you can live, and Lagos is part of your options. There are numerous things that you have to look out for when you're trying to rent an apartment. So first thing you like to consider when relocating to Lagos or looking for an apartment, basically renting an apartment in Lagos, right? You have to first of all consider your daily commute. So where's your job at? That should be number one in your mind. Maybe you already got a job before relocating, or you're coming to Lagos to search for a job and your job happens to be on the island. Of course, you'd have to consider living on the island, and you're the kind of, if you're young, vibrant, you're looking out to have fun while at it, while you're in Lagos, you want to be able to visit really cool places, restaurants, beaches, name it, right? It will be more preferable to get an apartment on the island. It doesn't make any sense that your job is on the island and then you're living somewhere like Ikorodu. That's it should be added to the list of 1,000 ways to die, because if traffic doesn't kill you, something will have to definitely kill you, right? So, you have to consider where your daily commute, where you'll be visiting more often, okay, where you almost every day, because if you're going to work, you have to make it to the office every day. Of course, 5 days out of 7 days in a week, you're going to have to be in the office, right? And if your job is on the mainland, you'd want to get an apartment on the mainland as well, because you don't want to get stuck in Lagos traffic every morning. It's going to reduce your lifespan, trust me, and it's going to be really stressful. And again, you don't want your bosses or people you work with to see you as unserious and incompetent and all that. So it'd be nice to get an apartment really close to work, so that you can make it to and fro work very easily. Point 2 to consider when trying to rent an apartment in Lagos: you have to consider your budget. How much are you working with? Okay, very, very important, right? I think it's even as important as your daily commute, because you might have a daily commute that takes you to the island every day, but you don't have the money to rent an apartment on the island, right? So it's very important to know the budget you're going to be working with. The more your money, the better your chances of getting nice apartments in cool places. So there's this myth that the island is more expensive than the mainland, which is not so wrong, right? But there are places on the mainland as well that are pretty nice, but they are not cheap. They are even more expensive than some areas of the island. So if you're going to be getting an apartment in places like Bagada, for example, right? Bagada has some really cool places, and Bagada is really, really accessible to the island. So like I said in my first point, if you have a daily commute that takes you to the island every day and you are considering getting an apartment on the mainland, perhaps you just want to stay on the mainland, Bagada is one of the places you can consider that would not really stress you when you're trying to access the island. But you have to consider how much you have, because there are areas of Bagada that are also very expensive. Cost you 2.5M to get a really nice apartment, and it depends on the type of apartment you're also trying to go for, right? So you also have to consider how much you have, because that would definitely affect the type of accommodation you're going to be able to afford and get at the end of the day. And just to add up, right, to this point, there are lots of extra charges that come with renting an apartment in Lagos. So you're going to be paying a lot of security bills, electricity bills, water bills in some areas. There's going to be an agent's charge, So I mean, you have to consider how much you have for rent and how much you're going to be you're also going to be budgeting for your service charges. So those are like the extra charges that come with the actual amount it costs you to get an apartment. So there are, I mean, it's a norm in Lagos to have a higher rent your first year living in an apartment, and then subsequent years you start to pay lesser because of all the extra charges that come with the initial charge. Number 3, agents. So you have to be very, very, very careful, right? Everybody and anybody in Lagos is an agent. You have to be careful the type of agents you're working with, who they are. There are so many sites out there. There's Property Pro, there's Nigeria Property Center, so many sites that you can find, you know, properties. You see their picture, description, location, amount. I mean, it's nice and wise for you to do your research on those sites first before embarking. And it's also nice if you already have an agent, maybe through referral or whatever, and you have somebody you're already working with or you're ready to work with, right? But if you don't have anybody, I mean, you're just blank, you're just trying to look for an apartment to rent, then you would have to make use of those sites to, like, you know, look at what's available out there and what you would be able to work with. And at the end of the day, when you get an agent, please be careful, because a lot of agents will waste your time. They would waste your time, and I'm not even minding words to say that, because they're all about their commission. They don't care about you, the tenant. That's why you need to work with someone that's reliable, that's competent enough, that's ready to calm down and work with you based on your budget and the area that you're looking out for, because they'll stress you, they'll waste your time, and they might even scam you. A lot of agents out there will scam you. So that's why if you're working with an agent, it's very, very important that you make inquiries, ask questions when you get to the area, when you're trying to inspect. Don't just go there, see the property. Of course, it's very important for you to see the house before you even commit any type of money. Okay, first of all, let me even mention that some agents would not even take you on any inspection until you pay them a non-refundable agency fee. So it can range from like 5k to like 3 to like 10, depending on the kind of agent you're working with, right? So when you pay that agency fee, make sure that you use them. Like, I'm just going to be very blunt, use them, because you've committed money. So make sure that you see what you actually want, right? Don't let them rush you into renting an apartment that at the end of the day you're going to regret it, because that's what they are going to actually do. They'll just want to talk you into renting just anything, as long as it has a roof and is a structure, because they want to get done with you and move on to the next available client. They are all about that agency fee, and then the bigger agency fee that's going to come at the end of the day when you eventually rent that property. That's all they're about. They don't care about you, your safety, your whatever. They don't care. So make sure that when they take you, that you go on an actual inspection to see that place. No video call, nothing. You go there one-on-one, see the place. If possible, speak to the landlord and previous tenants of that property. Very important. And make proper inquiries. Okay, ask questions, ask people on the streets, what's this place like, what, like, you want to know everything about that place and the area that you're going to rent, just to be very, very sure that it is okay for you to be there. So you have to look out for the agent that you're working with. Some people are really nasty. They just want to get their agency fee, like I said. And if you're lucky, you get someone that's, you know, trustworthy, reliable, that is ready to calm down and work with you and deliver something nice, and not necessarily just be about the agency fee. So many promises are going to make. Maybe you get to the apartment and there's no water, or you go there and you don't have lights. Maybe there's no NEPA connection at all, or maybe they use regular NEPA bill, which is pretty expensive. I'm still going to come to that. And maybe they tell you things that, oh, we're getting a prepaid meter, or the kitchen, the cabinets are not even there. Maybe the kitchen sink is not even there yet, and you're asking questions like, why is the kitchen like this? Why don't you have a prepaid meter? Blah blah blah. And they're going to tell you things like, oh, this, we already paid for it. When you come next week, it's going to be here. Just pay before you move in. It will be fixed. That is a lie. You're going to live in that house for 2 years and you will not see any sign, like no sign at all. So you have to be sure that everything they say they're going to do is completed before you commit even a dime, because trust me sis, bro, they're not going to do any of that. Point number 4, you have to consider the water situation in the area that you're going to be renting. So there are so many places in Lagos that have poor water condition. Places like Lekki, yes. So Lekki is surrounded with water, of course it's on the island. So originally or ideally, like someone would assume that okay, Lekki would have good water, but it's the exact opposite. So you have to make proper inquiries, like if there's no water, what's the water situation like? How do people that live in the compound, how are they able to get water? Because it's very, very important. And even areas that have good water, there are compounds that maybe there's no pumping machine, or there's no whatever, like maybe there's no water treatment, or they've not just done the water there, because there are so many landlords that are just, I wouldn't like to use the word wicked, but they're just very nonchalant about these things, right? So it's not like the water in the area is bad, it's not like there's any situation at all, but they are just not ready to fix the water because they don't really care so much about people that are going to be renting that property, right? They are all about just bring your rent. So you want to make inquiries, you know, of the water situation. We have water in this compound. If we don't, I mean, for places like Lekki and other places that maybe have, like, naturally the area have water issues, right? We want to make inquiries. Okay, how do we get water? Do we have like water suppliers that come here to supply water? How often do they come? What's the payment like? So these are the questions you want to be asking. So before we move on to the next point, please subscribe to my channel if you're yet to subscribe, and don't forget to like this video. So point number 5 to consider when renting an apartment in Lagos, you want to consider the electricity. So I know we're already in Nigeria and we know how things go on in this country, right? Electricity is not even reliable in this country at all. But there are still some areas that at least are manageable. There are areas that are the absolute worst. I mean, you don't want to rent an apartment and you realize that you can't even get light at all. I mean, maybe you get to see light once in a month, and then you have to burn fuel. If you even have the luxury of affording a generator, then you discover that you have to burn fuel almost all the time. With how expensive fuel is, especially in recent times, that is going to be so traumatic. Like, it's going to be very draining, because you realize that you're going to be spending a lot on fuel. Light is very essential, so you want to make the proper, like, you want to ask, when you're making your inquiries, you want to ask the right questions. How regular is the electricity situation here? How often do we get power in this area? What's the light condition? Because trust me, it's going to be very draining to have to buy fuel almost all the time. And at the end of the day, if you discover that okay, the light situation in the area is okay, you also want to have to ask questions like, how is the payment plan? So when I mean payment plan, how do we pay bills? So NEPA bill in Lagos is outrageous. If you're using a postpaid in Lagos, then you know that the bill that comes to you every month, most times it leaves you amazed, because you'll be wondering, like, is this NEPA bill, or I'm trying to buy a plot of land somewhere? Because the money is just too much. So most times people tend to look out for prepaid, which is just the best. So if you're going to rent an apartment, make sure you're looking out for a compound that has, sorry, if you're going to be renting an apartment, make sure that you're looking out for an apartment that has a prepaid meter. That way you'll be able to, like, I mean, balance it up, maybe manage it. And when you're leaving your apartment in the morning, you can switch off the entire light and you know, all the appliances in the house. That helps to conserve the money you're going to be spending on electricity. So long and short of it, it's more preferable to rent an apartment that has a prepaid meter over one that uses a postpaid, because that way you can just rationalize the lights. And for some compounds that even have postpaid, you discover that everybody in the compound is making use of one prepaid, which is very, very irritating. Point number 6, you also have to consider security. very, very important. I would advise to get a gated estate with actual security. There are estates like that, a lot of them actually in Lagos, that have that are gated, and then they have like security that, you know, watch over the estate. So because Lagos, I mean, Nigeria already is not a safe place, then Lagos with all the madness that comes with it is not so safe, especially if you're a girl or you're a foreigner or something. You want to stay in a place that you're sure that you're safe. You don't want to move into an apartment and then you're finding out that people get robbed here every 2 months, or they raped somebody the other day in the front of the street, or somebody was beheaded. Like, you don't want to live in a place where you can't even close your 2 eyes to sleep at night, right? So you want to get somewhere that is really, really secure. What are the residents of that area doing to secure the, you know, residents of the area, right? So at the end of the day, you know that you're safe. You're not, you know, prone to like rape, armed robbery, kidnapping and all that. You just want to be able to make sure that, you know, you're actually in a secure environment. I like to add extra points. I mean, if you're just, you know, relocating to the country and, I mean, you're trying to like rent in Lagos, or you live somewhere where you get to pay rent monthly, it would be nice to know that rent is paid annually in Lagos, right? So I mean, it has its good and bad side. Good side being that you don't have to bother about rent monthly. I mean, when you pay this month, then you have to start thinking, oh my god, next month I have to pay my rent again, right? You just pay it once and you relax. And I mean, I don't think there's a lot of bad side, except that, you know, some landlords want you to pay maybe 2 years or a year and a half, which might not be which is not okay, because I mean, after a year you might not like the environment and you might want to move, but you won't be able to move because you're stuck. And then, I mean, the money might not just be there, you might not have that fund for like 2 years rent at that time. So and it's actually very illegal to demand 2 years rent, but people do it. So that, and then the fact that some landlords are sexist, right? So if you're a lady, single lady, and you're working, and I mean, they would most likely not want to rent. Some landlords would not want to rent an apartment out to you, because they have this ideology that if you're a single lady trying to rent an apartment, you most likely be into prostitution or maybe fornicating their property, right? So some of them don't rent to single girls and single guys because they feel like, you know, you're just going to mess around, and which is wrong. So you have to also look out for things like that as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched to this very point, I want to tell you that I'm very, very grateful. I love you and you're very dear to my heart. Thank you for sticking till this very point. And if you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. It's very important because it helps YouTube to give you more videos like this. And please don't forget to share this video to your friends and family. And if you're a Lagosian or not, maybe you've lived in Lagos before and there are points I missed out in this video, please drop your opinion in the comment section. I want to read every one of your comments. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I love you. Bye.